KTNN, Window Rock, Tohatchi, Nahodeshkish.
Yat Kahasi Loshik Ashitanet, Dishidishnet El Yazzie. Kia Ani the Nansladosk Arzo, Bashin Kachini da Shadona, Kineta Shanale. Di Quaki E Anibi Hanetil Neto Litnich Ashikashitane, Hastranil Ego. A coco en reta na Kinachedoba Ayeta, Reta Trojet, Ajitron Linin, Todoyat etas lege ebata huil net ole. Nreta University of Arizona the Kudukishin re credo Shiprock Chapter that adon re Navajo EPA do CHR. Ado troben hit zil wal ya do hot Ishnik abata huil atole kodota nich ite da hotil zil adon da e hilta huil net ole.
Yate, my name is Paloma Beamer. Paloma is the Spanish word for dove or bird of peace. I'm Nakai, born for Belagana. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm an associate professor of environmental health at the University of Arizona in Tucson. I am co-principal investigator, along with Dr. Carletta Chief, of the Gold King Mine Spill Diné Exposure Project.
Yat Kahasi Lo She Yahat the Wayne Chilias with issues late was Ado Shiprock Chapter Ad eight Hashanan National Ado Shi Inchla Trohet Lini Edasha Kia Ani the She Tatchin Edashanala Ado Sachin It Hapahandla
Yate Mae-Gilene Begay Hinshia is she Hinsle Todich ini Bashishin Hanarahni Dashanala do Haskazo ya Dashache. See it back at Holia Ado Jessica Navajo Nation CHR program will Yagi Aj a launch not Aninshla.
Yate, my name is Kevin Lombard. I'm with the New Mexico State University Agricultural Science Center in Farmington. I'm originally from Fort Worth, Texas. I've been in the Farmington area for the past 10 years as an associate professor and superintendent of the Science Center.
Yate, this is Steve Austin. I'm a senior hydrologist with Navajo EPA's Water Quality Program. I work out of the Shiprock office, and I've been with the tribe for about 20 years now. My primary duties include collecting water samples throughout the Navajo Nation from the rivers, lakes, streams, springs. We compare the results with our water quality standards, which are designed to protect different uses, such as irrigation, livestock use, recreational uses, etc. We also work with the potential polluters on the Navajo Nation, such as the coal mines, power plants, and others, to regulate their activities.
Yad Shikedo Shadene, She Janene Natasha Yazzie and Shia. Tisna Janine, Shlendo Todachini Bashichin, Atlanta Shichedo, Zilkai Dachanale. Tessa Anadena Shak, Aden Anjoje de Shihon. I'm a community partner through Toben Nehidzil, but I also served as a research associate to Dr. Carletta Chief. Toben Nehidzil is a collective of community organizers committed to facilitating community action and dialogue around water security issues on the Navajo Nation. And so I served in that capacity to the research team, and I'm happy to be here today.
Yat enana shikeshadnek achedi yisi Badang Nilnagi Bahol Jij Akondet Hanne Holongo at Senegate Hade Lahat Ilado Halit I cohort Elahat Nila background Yahi in Hilchedish Atishi Nadish El Yazzie Shadin Red Asatitas Ka Loma on Holiedish Yaho at only Tis to the Ekat Winslow the other Kahest Akoko did that Nere na Kinachedon with the whole at August 5th, 2015 yet Adios Catleta Join Red Colorado Ajahot Zogi the Benza Bedit no but Hot so Aji Kindanaj Jan Reta Jun Rege eight not any Nazi Bahosen I don't know what the eight Farmington Holy. I don't know what that eight the Rango. adon le what the Silverton, Colorado holia. That's in the great Farmington don wish it nezat tina it's a tra in le kun net sakho na lo hola the she khata da she di belakana and le nezat tina an na khidan ta has nana ta she the ola will ye she khate des ego e she khata akido the kushi na khit net slatin that's na khi a kun le sakho ya zo yo wala chi ba na lo leta askido te yilala le thad ne za tindo ba ada zabi ga leta askid ade shi ola wal yegi sat ba thashi e ade khate kedo ade shi it's ade e lo khashin ade o e ola bat an teo e khut ashi pe e chotayol inde eta ye khatadet adata peni yo illo abi ga ya nas khaygin al khedent e hota ako AO yogo khana bsa aja ola ha gednya ta ngait late 1800 but it on grade 1900 ostan hologis ni khashin zashin hologis ola ben yan leo ya lata askede shi alkhuike des kashin adot aben nedishit o tropi hatat bid ako kon le yiten le sel at ilot alkidan irata is gedeshin Eshi sehegi at ehegi betrot an lenin le besh as art da bizje ay si lahane laijo ay abada hat zetla as dalia ako eshi le do arsik dan dalia da shi troha shi khatat pin da shi kuina khan leje le da hasane jo ashi so khatanes at go in the Washington United States government the EPA will yegi eshi ikides olia adoshin da betadat is nel olia akoko oshin itadat is zin le ta hasane akodi EPA khudat ninshe international inte biketas des will yego inspect dajil junde khashinta saben dajil nisne ado bata hajil chip sa adas des gid ade thodo ya egi over has got let's go ade khaziski in rate kho a kon lene bi hinda ashil thodes an re Cement Creek will ya ishil sa aj bi hinda adon nasin nahage Animus River ade that huge now in late San Juan River jet toilets khogot isn't khale bitje asa ajje ako de hot za ko si pa hat zedido pa hast ki shit jo ba da hoil na do le ti yin dis khagi ado be kedon da di twitch do be kedo after the spill will ye edo ba han na do le di keda the twitch yo in da gin hik en kid na tropi pa hota pa gani keda the tlaito penal los da haloni adon da esa so hatil ilta ado yinta peota adon da edi thogi ado el benest at use at ajo esa na rapetal el dan leni don le na da gut ya ta hal na dole akodi that University of Arizona ka ultra hotsan red ye shit because ani Tucson she peso sande di nela super funds will yegi yen dash nishiti 8 asia trahasin lo shik asia de ne akoko 80 quad background again nikilchons bahashne adon da ya University of Arizona the adet ultra ntskhas anigi joy adet the question is that they ne different colleges than law. Ako peso khadiz the National Institute of Health. Will ya ade peso no tahaki in the University of Arizona. Howie Foundation will ya aje pay nil. In the ado pay that age nish. Ako nikich can't law. Ade atkapaul tra. Nrate the litjin bagade na Russian nalen law Carletta Chief will ya Eshi ade atkashi peso yo kedo. Nakha large is go eben national kan lini atelia de kwejo shi il ke at el ako edo od just at anon hilchens a large na skagi ya short-term human exposure to the spill dilati thot thui chogila khit out the nata bestella no in red upper fruitland because anjdon red tho Shiprock adon le aneth it trago da chapter bekhawt zoi aden hiden en lini betkhat el der in da bede kit ay sinal khage di arsenic do let wilya eshitan repesh setup yi da lieko en reda nahsadon do thonal khahul yegi aji de yilla le thon lini le betlat khashtan lini thot khappa ho adonan se adon de eliek edat eliegit adon lej dak adon de trohas geto beg edat eliek thot pentan lieshi ad and das kha adin da en red tragot chapter because ani nikit napit il agi concern will yegi edo hot dabedik kito la khata hasio eshi kodo ben hilta huil na dolel akoko ay sin dash nashige University of Arizona yil partner yita yilagi yilta hil sodigi jo in Navajo Nation jim nan state egi Navajo community health representative kota sa ko not anin lini ko na CHR adon de Shiprock Chapter de nikinant adoko adon de tope at zilul yegi ade akej adon de yam an hikodo Navajo tribe do EPA da ol dagi under the neck college don read the band saja ultran schagi Fort Lewis College don reiki London Northern Arizona University sit a hil so tots da kai jo in da skha eshi kodo ben hil ta hil na do leshik eshi na adon read an zan hil da hasil now ade na edikita ne hollo shi ade khodil ne eshi kwa khodina go 80 besh behen na ben number ikodon hil chat a tolil akot a da il ne tolil akote ade o background e bahashna akonto lehye immediate spill so that all hot in a dale hot hit out it and behodit dot kibila la no adon da it kayaton dot khonas khagi ad akut a del netole ado shi ade ta hot nedo an khana ho a tole ado keten linige red als kon hiln da sil ne reg aden na ki hel ki bech hol jo adin da khotone ne ana al ne to le ki eshi pa da huil na do le to ade asa alhide khodon da skai khana da hat sich dort ade bet khana da do le adot ke da tlehgi da ade go yinal ego baban za kese edo pa da huil na do le khut a yet ya da background summary will yegut on hilch on ado leshik eshed na akoshek atam nge immediate spill as legi ado khanna do legi bichat atatika ako alnaj bijat nan ige kodosh che chili yazi eshi kodok anhe hanana sich do le
ja che o kodet o da zad na hallo hat hilch in anigi che lebet ate no hanat anahan igi kwa nhaik hakolla ako tide tro nlnigi nits bigit tsligi di tro abat hollo nigi che tradnes nat in the millias trocha kizo 300,000 gallons kunne la ha di tro bat hollo nigi di tro nlnigi yit hot za hot ko ako tita tro pan kahnit ini et il yenli tol has ado to ninanzad ado San chapter ado sadak ando tros agito kadi ado an leoya إدت أكلنا نيجي بهنال كونك إليه أكو تيتخون لنيجي يهات شونيل كوا بينات نيل زدو كوا بينات نيل يش أكو كوا نهتس تخب نهتس باتهو تا يهات بحزن go yinil yego bihnite ako chot na ta obzol tahaleho kutzati de ako thod ahos nihts nakis ita thoba hollo sale no ako penina go yahati kwet khos age tsada kando kadi ahas anigi thod ado hatasi kiz yahan lej nahol jij ko kwet na tando khshinanest chashi yana dat kwet o that is odo kon de patat nas de so yahat on hits to ado yahat chodanest da ko yego hits antel kwet khohnini tlenige tho hits pat hasli ado ko akonde ado yaha cho kwe yego yaha nanish de ahwiz ade nat anit anle Washington this ade nkhasha natleho yaha khol jej ko ti hut ada ol yaha so hoten tel ni hat da ko hut yaha kwe yinni so yego nahot pihnite ako ayego yaha kwe na shi basic ako edi street kwe ni hinat ani Dr. Carletta Chief kwe na al khahige in ason khadigi adi kwe bat hazlingi tho lakhit yaha ni hodil tats jo kwe gisana adikid yahan lo kwe in da sil kha ko kodo bata huil na dole kunso kodo bat na hona
Kohot trot nihits ichho pitche hot kahonda kagi CHR spet nenegi ko howango bagal ta yila are didet howande didet nan trinki de ko trohogi nihits bahodit ado chadal ene Dani go hot nan kingi deila hot kaho da kago ado inda alto didet khashit nilsogo di bat holonigi ilo aja nan kingi ya CHR spet ningi hot kaho da kagi aja nan kingi ilo nahadagil ado inda alto di trogi hodit iki benina di trohgit lado ligi adoj ian kon ni traho ya yil trada da kraho ni trades ni akodidet tropohodit iki aj khashin so be ohodit iki aj nan tiniki ye go ya bananas edegila trop behodit ianda hot ago CHRs but nenegi nihika EJ
As senior planner and co-founder of the Navajo Nation Little Colorado River Watershed Chapters Association and also as co-founder of the TBND Collective, I was already deeply involved in helping Navajo communities deal with impacts of environmental contamination, especially with regards to impacts to our sacred water systems. Growing up in the communities that were impacted by the Church Rock mill tailing spill and the uranium mining activities in Church Rock, I knew how important it was after an event like this to ensure that the community stakeholders were getting reliable information. The TBND Collective was already hosting teach-ins in different communities. So when we found out what happened on the San Juan River, we were alarmed because we were getting reports that Form 95, a claim form, was being circulated by EPA. And they were asking for landholders to provide a short-term assessment of projected crop and livestock losses while waiving any long-term or unclaimed losses that were unknown. And this happened in the immediate aftermath when there still wasn't information or data being provided to the communities about what exactly was in the materials that were spilled into the San Juan River and what were the potential impacts. Because of that, we hurry up and planned our first Gold King mine spill teach-in on August 13th, 8 days after the spill. And we documented the people's concerns for both the short-term crop losses, but also what they were feeling about the potential for long-term contamination and how they were afraid about the long-term impacts to their fields and to their way of life. What was really interesting in those meetings were the repeated interests and requests to better understand both the vulnerability of the communities to future spills, because it became revealed, as Chile explained earlier, that there were thousands of unremediated mines along the Animas River leaking these toxic materials into the San Juan. But the community was also very concerned about being proactive in building community projects that helped clean the river of contamination and that protected the fields and irrigation canals from future events, because at that point we realized that we needed to anticipate this continuing to happen. When I learned that Dr. Chief had put together a concept proposal to investigate and assess the impacts of the Gold King mine toxic spill with a talented multidisciplinary team, I worked with local community leaders such as Percy Deal to ensure that we helped with gathering the letters of support from the Office of the President and Vice President and resolutions from appropriate Navajo Nation Council committees such as the HESC and RDC committees. When all the parts are facilitated and the team received funding, I helped with data collection, training of local stakeholders and field sampling, organizing community teach-ins and meetings, and presenting with the team any of the findings or results that were analyzed. Going forward, we need to keep working with community members to identify solutions and develop projects that protect the communities along the San Juan River from now into the future.
Yate, I'm Kevin Lombard. When we first saw the spill on the TV, national news, we made some phone calls to try to get some water bottles, sample kits lined out. And I wear two hats. I'm a researcher with a plant scientist. I do crop production and soil science. I don't do mine remediation, environmental impact studies, but our immediate reaction was also, I'm a farmer. I farm 4 acres in Aztec on the Animas River, lower Animas Ditch, and we were deeply concerned about what we were seeing coming down the river. We knew we needed to do something. We had equipment for soil sampling. We had water bottles. We started collecting samples. We just kind of dove in. We went to our farms first, and then our efforts got the attention of the New Mexico Environment Department. We started assisting the emergency response during the irrigation shut off. We collected lots of samples in irrigation ditches that were dry to try to establish baseline information before the water came back into the ditches after the ban on irrigating was lifted in mid-August. We cried with our community members. We were concerned about our farmland, and that's was pretty much a blur at that time. I'd have to say it was very much a gut reaction, but because we live and farmed in the river watershed, we felt that we as scientists had to put our scientist hats on and try to find out, what was going on. Nobody really knew anything. Nobody could trust what was coming down from the EPA, and so that was pretty much our initial reaction.
This is Paloma Beamer again from the University of Arizona. As described by Al earlier in the background, immediately after the spill, Dr. Carletta Chief from the University of Arizona was contacted from multiple groups with numerous questions about the spill and its impacts on the environment, the animals, and human health. So she started leading an effort at the U of A with the Superfund research program to put together a fact sheet addressing all these questions. Dr. Chief and I have known each other since we were both students over 15 years ago. And so when she was working on that fact sheet, she reached out to me for assistance in answering the health-related questions and about exposures to the contaminants. At the time, I started looking in the scientific literature to see what was known about large mine spills like this and their effect on human health. And there was not much info there that we could find to even use as guidance. At that point, Dr. Chief and I decided to write a grant to the National Institutes of Health, which has a special grant opportunity for going in quickly when there has been an environmental disaster. And then we also wrote a grant to the Howry Foundation. And we were successful in getting funding for both these projects. And the research projects asked three main questions. We were trying to understand, within 1 year of the spill, what are the short-term human exposure to the spill amongst the people living in 3 Navajo communities? And we focused on Upper Fruitland, Shiprock, and Aneth. We also wanted to know where are the arsenic and lead, which were the primary contaminants of concern, ending up in the environment, such as the levels that we could find in the sediment along the river, in the irrigation canals, in the agricultural soil, in the river, and irrigation water at 3 different seasons during the year. In the winter, immediately following the spill, in the spring during the snowmelt, when everything was being, and then in June following the snowmelt when the peak river levels were occurring, and we knew that a lot of the sediment was going to be resuspended. And then finally, we also wanted to hear what were the concerns of the Navajo people in each of these 3 communities, and what were their primary concerns, and what were the primary impacts that they perceived happening from the spill. In my role as co-principal investigator with Dr. Chief, I've been primarily responsible for developing the study protocols and overseeing the field collection, and then working with Dr. Chief on developing the report back materials as we develop the materials for the 12 teach-ins we've held already at these chapters.
Yeah, this is Steve Austin again. When I first heard the spill the day after it occurred via email that I received late on the afternoon of the 6th from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and it just indicated that there was an acid mine drainage leak into the Animas River up in Colorado, and I really didn't think we'd even see it down here on the San Juan River. The next day, when I got back into the office, we realized that it really was a big deal, based on all the emails that I was seeing exchanged and all the attention that was being paid attention to it. At that point, I offered my services to U.S. EPA to help with monitoring. We were already monitoring the river that summer at 5 locations between the Hogback and Bluff, Utah. So we were familiar with the length of the river. We didn't know that EPA was responsible at that point either, and we had a close relationship with them because they funded our program. So I met with them. We selected 10 sites along the San Juan River, extending from Farmington down to Mexican Hat. I went out with their crews on the 8th and sampled as the spill came down the San Juan River between Shiprock and Farmington. I went back out with them on the 9th and hit all 10 sites. During this time, I was also main point of contact for public questions, and we're trying to coordinate with other government entities like the state of Utah, New Mexico, other federal entities that were responding to the spill, trying to get as much information as we can, trying to figure out what we should be doing with the canals and some wells that were along the river, whether we should shut them off or not. And people were starting to remove their livestock from the area, so there's a lot going on at that time. After that, we went our separate ways, and EPA started sampling on their own. Spent a lot of time looking through the data and trying to help the decision makers with the tribe to stay informed. Spent a lot of time at meetings and different things. We began our sampling in earnest late in August, going through all 10 sites ourselves, collecting water and sediment samples, and we continued sampling through October of 2015, capturing a lot of the storm events that occurred at that time. We continued sampling in March of 2016 before the snowmelt runoff, so we can provide information to the local communities as to whether or not they should open up the irrigation canals in that spring. Based on those results, we said that it would be okay to irrigate, with the caveat that they would shut the canals when there was large storm events, because we determined that that's when the metals concentrations were the highest. We received extra funding in the summer of 2016 and continued monitoring. We collected about 250 samples between October of 2016 through September of 2017, all along the San Juan River, and we included sampling in the Fruitland and Hogback canals, plus the major tributaries that flow into the San Juan, Chaco, Mancos, and McElmo Creek and Aneth. We also funded a fish tissue study that was conducted during that time, and I'll mention the results later from that. Currently, we're working on coordinating with the states and other tribes with additional funding that's come from Congress to continue monitoring efforts and to continue studying the river.
Akunanat ela doyat that's not sagi kodoshi eya na ede kidigi e nicha alna to lil kot ish ad hasha adwala.
Yat enana sikesha the nashidi kodoshi nadishna El Yazzie. Eye di kon khalchina nge ultra the hot sade nikai je on das kagi do EPA do Navajo tribe. Ado an ge da nikinant a Shiprock Chapter do kodo hata hasti. Ojit ano ad najin hilchna hon shatolil. Ich kogonda ade da naide kidi da naha ado lenshik esh da na khat da naide kidon nosago kuj khotolne eshi kodo ba beshbe nagin khaya na hatle do dinago ya da junlede thon leni thodo ya gi tho bi hinna do ade le da Colorado don le the Rango don le Aztec Farmington le Upper Fruitlands na do al ado ste tho lenin le da Shiprock not ani nez ado nas le da aklana holyajen aja shin NMSU ta adon da enugo e the nebike hype e ado bits ajo ilen le page do no wish jo e kon inna agi di da la hide ultra gin da ska I see large EJG Shinalan Lini or Carletta Chief a large and Hayiz. Ado a kegot Yizige did Paloma Beamer or University of Arizona de Asla. A base of Yi Kedi the Natras or Ekodobaka EJ a Coco University of New Mexico State University then Kevin Lombard no needed a dejo on hasnegi. Hours kon hita is nido ad tron lenigi as at trogi jo Bahaja dan launching betan that the kisi that hatayiz kan has uliego sample Eshin le tron leni as tron leni adon de hastrapan kot hashigidon le tratlate Sejigi Eshi Hateyi Leo akut ata illa. So that all Zaya Dajo in August 2015 in Egon Holjisko. Adon dan le Haishni Gosto Kunata itla. Ton Lenido Sejon Re Trohas Gate Got Trotas Lene Nada Yizid. Adon the Enle danger to hold vision led it that they are at Honda Ligo. The talk it or you and a call. So that at Kisane large and less Ligo. Eat down to Togi Hanada is ka says do hashta. Adon the age of English she is Nigo. A coronado lay ego the queen the she would out. A kid a nazido a yos kalida bacao. A could on this cow hole jeez. A coadon the ada bacai jaggy the quishy down the Utah State that do New Mexico out of federal EPA Edo Aiga Navajo Nation do Washington Bihigi Edo A could on the cow jota at the ilasali. I don't hit the neck or Navajo tribe on the state Aggie CHR and Dalnashi Jo en reho trakota the Natrata Krego Econ Ikandalo Edo Kuyabata is Nigo Econ Tron Linigi Bakota Baranijo Sadohit out of these national noja Econ Yika Naja Tratahotology. I don't the Yatam Reda University of Arizona that added IC Yego EJ Sali ako in reda just how in rate Bakata is has Tota Wadidan Lewell will Yagi Eta that Danel or Ekata Hatzidota Ado Hot Abanda stay Ado Satin hidden in Penal Lotion Lini de Bedo Big Gashido Sido Heshi Ne Leshi 8 betratast adit nihinal Lotion Lini inna Ado di tron Lini de Tlan hat no da hot ouda Ado et atelier do sah no tron Lini and the Huskies Ako si anant aguna Nihin Lini Beltrata Hotol Ziko yet Kodot Ojit Anobanda Hoilna Chick Ashidana Kachi Yan Reta Kodon Haliani Nakabit the house let on than Hidos Kidolet Ado Kodo Heshi Paponet Zani Kodon Hitchahata hat Zitoli Bina Idos Kitiki Ek Apanya Adol Nish Rijban Naden Shah.
Akoshila na here that's not agi other than the base by hadishna nenzo nast ena kitse b to sit asai d to b to sit 928-871-4487 other she base by hadishna not list other than the kodo band his one 8 ba na idos kid ashode other than make your questions brief and to the point. Akot ago edonan ada ako na here ada that's not agi KTNN AM 660 101.5 FM do ado KWRK 96.1 KCAZ 99.5 that's not agi online do that's not ada Aisha ada shi ya based about honda la ida texting so da kodoli.
Oh Yate. Hello.
Go ahead, caller, with your question, Yate.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to first thank you all for coming up on KTNN and addressing and giving the public information about the water spill, the mine spill. I have a question. I noticed that you guys applied for a grant. Is that grant is that going to continue so you guys can monitor that all the water spills? Because that water spill, that mine spill from there, it eventually filters into underneath the Navajo tribe, the land. The table water is going to be polluted. Let me give you an example. I live out here in Newlands, out in Sanders. There was a mine spill, uranium mine, that used to be located up by Marano Lake. That dam broke and it filtered. It took 20 to 30 years for it to filter down here. Now the Sanders School, they had to shut that water off, and eventually it's gotten to the table water there. So if you just do the sampling for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, you're not aiming at that 25 to 30 years. do you have enough resource available to continue that? That's basically my question. And also, are they going to allow you more time to really get into those each windmill and then even households? Because NTA pumps a lot of water from different areas. And so the livestock, they use windmill, but the table water is pumped out from somewhere else. So in both cases, they have to be monitored, not only the San Juan River, but the table water underneath the Navajo tribe. Thanks.
So this is Paloma from the University of Arizona, and you make very good points. We know that these kinds of contaminants like lead and arsenic can take many years to bioaccumulate in the environment, and that, yes, and to filter through different parts of the environment and to move through the environment. So ideally, there would be monitoring for many, many years to come. The grants that we applied for are designed for short-term monitoring. So the grant from the National Institute of Health is only a 2-year grant, which ended in February of this year. And then the Howry Foundation grant is a 3-year grant, which will end next July. We hope that from the data we've collected, we'll be able to ask for additional funds in the future to look at long-term monitoring. But yes, you would want to look at it in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Going back to your question about the households, we've actually sampled over 60 households on the Navajo Nation and collected their drinking water and their cooking water and any other water they use in the household. So if there were houses that were on NTUA and also hauled water from windmills or from other wells that we have identified, we collected those samples as well, and we'll report on those later on today in the show.
If you're calling in and ask questioning, make sure to turn your radio down. Caller, go ahead, you're on the air.
Okay, why is EPA the only one that can break all kinds of rules and they don't have to pay for it? They can do any damage they want to Mother Nature, our water, our land. They can do any damage they want, and they don't have to pay up. Look what they did to our land, and they're not paying for it. And there is not even one scientist in Washington D.C. that is with EPA. They just play all different kinds of games, damage anything they want, and they don't have to pay for it. Why is that?
Need ego bayan did that Washington Diné Kaya to Kaya be Hodlonigin Hassan Yaha quite adolet is a be Hodlonigi jo 8 hours of Najin peso ja yaha e bennet. Ako di Washington Linigi jo 8 ani e que sao en hihodilti. Jo pebanad na shige e que tro to yat ehigi nichi dilkir. Akot ani e nhietit an hie que nhast edat il nichudan his din nidne adota. Distrigut aho ehit ad in hast edat tleta. Akot adon nede e tenna ade e bayan igi. Jodit nanit lenigi bakhagish klishnit lenigit ahat ot onan hitzel tkhal na hallo e hol khatashi akot edet ehigishit ako kwe yaha as yaha in hit il au yaha ade hot nakhaban suni keso hot in khabahin zi yahu
alles Yat enan shidodi large naide kitin yahol ne ba trash na kodo hanat yito di large hol ne gi anno yatam di peso be on shiki kat da ish annas kit ito le khalanza peso bahalo in al khala no na del kit yinna annini gi yat shan re da na njojo do no wushuko le Church rock holia ajo le lana khidan re thattin tis din da shna khayen ta aj yad uranium let sol yegi khata akir ko pana alteko ade shi thoto yat shi to hollo asati betat istno aj bi hillinde te kijo ade that o yut hotsnski khojen reina njojdo khojet kho aj dam tho ilniki jo ya halne nach halne ita ye ta ajan reit khatino anti is tina khaye ta den reita Sanders geta ult khaido khok thu hatas lani sadata pe hoti te ulla na khai ako ela khan za ti peson lani nan te to no na te kit ado khoto University of Arizona de peso ta yi kheda bahas na li hlat a nazi Paloma Beamer yaki no ya ani khut an ani bahol nait a khut di thol yagin leta selt khanas zit betro dan lini ba da hat zediki toxic waste dan lini trobil in nako an needs da doch thon lini doch nail thota jonne joko akon de dik abeta anishike na re na kina khegodo la tra na khegot a khodo bent inish akodina khagi di arsenic do let will yege in re ati anle khoto sejt api khollo khagi shi da khsten da has el shi in re ashla da nakhna neznata na tin da nakhna akon de khodon da as khage in re da thochin legit ajit khonlini bahota kheta hat any Upper Fruitland, Shiprock, and N. Khatin ho once and Nelbiga ho. Betro anel ho wagon tohatas the need to the natural yos inni adult or the pedona alt lost to yos in it open and lieshigi anel got no ye could hanat zila could ela.
Of course, I base a now hold now. So, Kodoshe, question again. I'll go ahead and ask the question. Caller, you're on the air.
Good afternoon. I am calling from the Fruitland area. I have a farm in that area, and I guess first of all, I just want to thank the people that are doing the study to help the communities. I guess my question is really about the initial impact, I guess, that was felt by the spill by the people in the communities. I know even after 1 year, there was a lot of hesitancy by the farmers to continue their farming. But some of them they had to do it because of their their own personal economic situations. So I'm just wondering, like, how safe is it, and was it after even 1 year, not really knowing any study results, to allow the people to continue with their farming? So that, I guess that's my initial question, and now a few years later, I think the question for me continues to linger. So that's my main question. Thank you.
That's a really good question, and that's actually the next segment of the show. We'll be going through all the results from the U of A, from Navajo Nation EPA, and from New Mexico State University. So if you hold on, we should answer most of those questions that you have about both the environment and the people.
Yeah, this is Steve again. The monitoring results that we had right after the spill indicated that there were high levels in many metals when the spill came through. And then particularly during those first storm events that occurred in late summer and early fall, the metals that we were seeing in high concentrations were ones such as arsenic, lead, aluminum, iron, vanadium, and zinc. They were particularly high during the storm events, which was not unexpected. US EPA estimates that only about 10% of the contaminated material came through as the plume hit the San Juan. So that left about 90% of the material in the bed of the Animas River. And a lot of that got stirred up during these storm events in the late summer and fall. Particularly when the Aztec floods hit I don't know if anyone remembers that, late August. That's when we saw some of our highest concentrations of these metals. Even with these high concentrations, our irrigation standard, which is probably what you're most interested in, was only exceeded during these storm events and only for aluminum, which is a concern primarily for plant toxicity, not human health. And generally is not going to be a concern out here because the plants aren't going to uptake it with our alkaline soils. We also did see high levels of lead and vanadium, which exceeded our livestock watering standard during these storms, and our recreational use standards for lead and arsenic were exceeded. But it was just during these storm events, so that's why we made the recommendation to limit use during storm events and also to close the canals later during these storm events. Later results that we had from monitoring from October of 2016 through September of 2017, particularly in the snowmelt we were interested in during the spring of 2017. We didn't see any high metals concentrations coming down from down the Animas. So 2 years essentially after the event, we weren't seeing it during snowmelt. We were still seeing high concentrations in storm events in both the winter of 2016, spring of 2017, and also summer of 2017. It's not clear if this is still contamination from the spill or from other source. We're going to hopefully get the answers to that with the funding that we have coming down. In addition to these, we looked at fish tissue. We did a fish tissue study in April of 2017. We hired a contractor and collected catfish samples along the San Juan River. We focused in on catfish because that is the most likely fish that people are going to consume in the area. And based on the results of that, they compared what they found with studies that were done pre-spill, and the metals that were determined were comparable or about the same as what was seen before the spill, except for mercury, which was higher. We're not sure, again, if that's related to the spill or not, but the concentrations that we found were not at a level that would pose a human health risk if you're just consuming catfish on a recreational basis.
KTNN AM 660, 101.5 FM, KWRK 96.1, 99.5. KCAZ ya adida isnalt ko klaya na ho na ota loko kodashe ya na idikide ya ba na neta little ko ya de caller, go ahead, you're with your questions. Good evening. KTNN AM 660, 101.5 FM, KWRK. Caller, go ahead with your question. Turn down your radio, sir. Please turn down your radio. Go ahead with your question.
Oh, hi, I'm a scientist. I'm a professor, and I was curious. I'm also from Shiprock. My name is Wilfred Diné, and I'm curious about the uranium, heavy metal, and all those things that's being studied because of many factors that, I'm wondering what the U of A people and others are doing. I mean, of course, we want to see published studies so we can really see how that is looked at, but the Navajo, like my family out there, used to be sheep raisers, and we used to eat sheep and cattle. We have a cattle ranch out there, and we eat cattle, the meat from them, and of course the water is used and all of that. And these old uranium mines and all of that have been producing heavy metals as well for a long, long time. And I just wonder about the how the investigation of this spill from those heavy metals from old mines is determined. What's separated, what can we say was due to the Gold King mine, heavy metal spill versus just the general heavy metals that are already out there because of all of that being already natural in the environment out there. Also, I wonder what will be the long-term effects on this as it bioaccumulates in the foods that we eat, corn, crops, again, sheep, the meat that we eat from the sheep and other things there. What do we have to be concerned about? All right, thank you. Ahead.
With respect, this is Steve again, to the uranium and other metals associated with the mines, that is a big concern for us. We've done some monitoring in the tributaries that are fed by the mining areas like Cove, along Red Wash, and also the Chaco and on the Chinle side. So we are looking at that. One of the things that we are hoping to get funding for is a study to look at these other sources and not just the Gold King mine. Right now, we don't have the funding for that. Utah has some funds there. They've started looking at that. We're hoping with additional funding that will be coming from Congress in the next year or two to take a closer look at these other heavy metals or these other sources of heavy metals, such as uranium. We didn't see elevated uranium as a result of this spill, but we have seen it in the San Juan before, and it may be a result of the other mining activities. And it's hard to tell whether or not it's from the mill, the mining, or even naturally occurring. So that's one of the things that we would like to get answered. As far as accumulating in food or in fish, we want to continue to study these things, and that's another area where we're hoping to get more funding for, is to continue with the fish tissue studying into the future. I know at least New Mexico is also looking at fish tissue. Some of the funding that is coming down, we will be looking at the creatures that live in the river that the fish feed on, and that's where we're going to see the accumulation first. So we're hoping to continue monitoring those for at least the next 5 years.
Yat enano ultraselo kwaye dita ngai ol kilibik auto di kwatam khanagi ilketa sobik awidnasi ka akoko yati results will yahi aita bahahon bin yage yat. That's to talk about the results on the environment and the people. What are results that were discovered? That includes the environment. The results on the environmental study, Ado AD Kodot, Navajo EPA, University State, New Mexico State University, in Hitchhanatzi, Na Kombich Enada di Kage AD Diné, Bilashline hit Nenigi 8 the people, the impact and how the people were reacted to the spill. Banata huil net dolete ishi ana hota don't not anzao nail kidna became in the ayat adon the 8 next step be banata huil ne in the 8 ade naidi kidin ha ana the deal nil ako quite a stable budget nata so ebit hakana hota dolge a large ege conscious chebana dolge Janene Yazzie.
Yat enana trahassilosik enollaniigi Itsallaaj ayat kwasat seleniri lit heshite holna ipa hitnesi Dr. Wolford the Netclaw. I'm proud of you, brother. Good to hear your voice. Kodoya did it quite on hilakohot za ta jadi Kodoba da wil na igi nsago hot za igi shit as ya it nan the speci kre. Oko quite o quite tonik is ya hat the dish gizeta de EPA nigin la Washington de 80 nas zando also ya hat hegi do tota aj ya to le ligi pohdi khalo ya hundan nash ehut oldi khanazla oko ti kwe khanal nashigi kwe yahat ti ante yahat khod nihich del giz oko ti EPA beti nigi jo bishi yise yah kwe khanek yah za oko kwe do ho za ta ha she yah kwe nan jo ja za large celestina anin lenigi ta kwe khotan khaniya akot an ne en he ya en hik ya ta silze ni hetet ado kwen khas da dil ni shita no kwe ya at aslaj enan stil at an ne ako natet on khan de ye hotati de Berlin Holloni it o ya it sleep bagan gonna kunne it the pedo hishin sleep the bekashi da it other it hot in da kreda hat not eben ye it of the shadows ado the EPA nigi di the twitches so was it dan schole ad the cushion de yizi ado chedat so lit kujut da hat sado napi bidi nigi ade thohigi ya ade inte ye ho de shi ako chonde kwe di twitches schai ande abat hodlo da jil جئتي تشدبك أهي تشدبك بتخو إت إيه يها إيه شيء بيتحلون تشين إيه تل إيه ليك وإيه هتدل إيه كو إتا ستسلت جو بن جونيور جي كويت داك إبنت أنلون آسيا هوش كيد أكو إيه بابا هيه نيزين دول لهنسون إيه دشنا إيه كويت ستسلت آسيا يها يهو إيه يها تنه ich anhat zido kwe inan shitra pesadelia ako ja ado ya eti na alkhatan lenigi ti khonsa khada zhigi le kinsada nas jate do nan shin sabata ta inne ado tin sahata hisote ta hotta hoda altkha igi tsata khuidan she ya kwe tonal kha no kwe inan shito bezeskre ako disje de jet at ya kisen so di trohigi ya nasli di adolle bat bi selegi kisen so en lo ya el jodan hilni ya ado said ashin ni di trohnlinigi betlat hishigi shi bi selinte ako ishi ot hot oshin shigi bel bi hullo ako trot adot egon lo ya ishin adot ehta ako ahjo ku ayego ta hatal kiton le de tsle la trot dan na ho ku trot na os masto bi gana ti ta hota jo ko inda ta ba holloni gi le ish bi sle gi ad inta ikha ha shi ya hot kwe ne nitle akonde kwe ya at kisen so kodoba da hajel di trohnlini adyat ya kedat let on jodi hat no ya kwe ya be ben hilta hajel ne ko kon so kodoba hanana sti dole
yat enana chikation na di kwagi tam Bilash line hit nen Lenny ele hit ya tam bodilt adonana hit tam lata tipila hit ta nego ye epa ya tigit ako betracha hat das sti land na kon ye Mae-Gilene Begay hat adon da Janene Yazzie adon da Paloma Beamer ba na hat das ako da case na lo khudin na on da adena da hasna dole shik issue na
Ich habe a cohodidet CHRs hot honda kagi to yego banana shadayila a con howango ya tada da kaho ado da itis kit ado and the sunny do has twi to besnada halna di hohot indiki totnits ich honki yego ya nihitat is Yego ebe yinil bihin bilni je da nogo eya da halna akodit kohogishi eya aja di benalt loshi aja da atla tondetli ado inda di eda delieho aji kohogi be eya tonasked hot chudayo ado tukishi lat edi Kohig, but ado eya ina ila to hot anikil beta hosi a kohoi yego eya by yinil sani do host twi hot ago shohodit shithoa hot ago بهديت تانيغو تا چگو نخست حالنا آدو خاهلا این دادید خوهگی یا چنانینش این دولیل آدو شنال تلاشی ایشه هیت بهدید ایل دولیل آدو دید نال تلاشیگیش آی شانگو آکو آدو این دادید ایتش لیهگی ایلتو تخوهگی دی چونگی آجو چوش اینگو ایلتو هیت آلا دیشت اسیگی بهدید ایخ دا نون دا چگو دا ایدل کد خود آگو ایا CHRs خود خاتن دا کاگی دیدت سانی دو هستوی اکون ایا خوانگو یت خواهو ایا تخدا دو کای اکوه دی سانی دو هستوی خاشین صادی ده بهدی بجای دی بهدید ایها بنسک هیسی گینده ای یگو ایا ایدل آلا اکوه خاشین صا ایا دیده نانشه نانهیت نیست خاکی بینی گاهی ای بناچه ایا خدا بکان دیلول خود ایا دینهیت نایگی بسن داشیلنش تخات موجودات.
Hello, this is Janene Yazzie again with Toben Nehitzil. When discussing the impacts on the people immediately after the spill, it's important to take into consideration the historical trauma that was already there. There was such a widespread mistrust of what was being reported by the federal agencies and by other representatives that were coming into the community because of mishaps and bad experiences that our communities have had in the past around events like this. Coming from the communities that were impacted by the uranium mill tailing spill in 1979, I gravitated towards this group because Dr. Chief put together one of the most comprehensive and culturally sensitive projects to highlight and to be guided by the community concerns following the impact of the spill. And what came out of those conversations with the community members was this concern for multi-generational impacts in terms of how this was not only going to have an effect on their livelihoods and the immediately aftermath with crop loss, but also how the metals could potentially contaminate the fields and crops into the future. And what was an interesting phenomenon that was also taking place was how the children and the youth in the community were witnessing what was going on. A lot of the messaging and the outreach was geared towards the adults and the livestock owners and the agricultural producers, but the children were the ones that were witnessing what was happening in their community and the widespread fear and concern that was being expressed by people who didn't know how this was going to impact their economic future. And, you know, what was exposed in all of this was the amount of water insecurity that was being experienced by the communities along the San Juan. Shiprock Chapter had no alternative water source for their livestock. All the wells were capped because the groundwater was already contaminated from uranium contamination. And we didn't have check dams or livestock ponds to capture runoff. So there was no alternative water supply. And this was a wake-up call for all of us to take into our own hands, our building the understanding of our own vulnerabilities, but also the strengths. It was amazing to see who came out in the immediate aftermath and the amount of talent and expertise we have among our community members, but also the potential of bringing those stakeholders together, from the students at Dream Diné School to the college students that were from the community, all coming together to try to be part of a solution and to, in the wake of this tragedy, find hope and work with one another to build our own capacity to deal with these events and to build our own solutions. So although there was troubling reports about people selling off their livestock because they didn't know what to do, they didn't know how they were going to be impacted, families losing an entire years of income because of their crop losses and because they chose to make that sacrifice of shutting off the irrigation water and instead of risking further contamination of their fields. And the stories that we got in our community meetings about loved ones that committed suicide, it was very alarming. And we knew that we could not leave our communities vulnerable to these type of events into the future. And that's why with the stakeholders, we've been not only concerned about the quality of the research and making sure that it gets done the way the community members need it to be done, but also ensuring that we're still talking about solutions and what we can do to be proactive to clean our river and to understand what background levels means and what our vision is for the future of the river for ourselves and our communities, and also evolve our understanding of our responsibility to our sacred water systems.
So this is Paloma from the University of Arizona again. And with the research projects, we were able to build on what Janene just discussed. We wanted to make sure we could formally collect data discussing the impacts to the communities and to the people. On our research project, we have formally trained over 30 community members and over 70 students, half of them being Diné, to collect the data alongside with us. The first thing we did was hold focus groups in each of the communities where we had over 120 participants in total, so we could ask questions about how the Gold King mine spill has impacted them directly. And then we also used that to help us inform the rest of the study design and the exposures and about exposure and questionnaires. All the data we collected from the focus groups was transcribed and translated from Navajo into English. And then we went through it and we went ahead and coded all this data to identify the top concerns. Across all 3 chapters, which include Shiprock, Upper Fruitland, and Aneth, the primary concerns were concerns about exposure and distrust. In general, the communities expressed this general distress, but more particular forms of distress were related to historical trauma and distrust of non-Navajo entities, particularly government entities. We also identified a top concern in Upper Fruitland and Aneth of concerns about mental health, and in Shiprock there was concerns about physical health. And in Upper Fruitland there was concerns also about financial concerns and financial risk. In Shiprock and Aneth, we also identified that cultural concerns and change were a top risk as well. The concerns about exposure were what fueled our research goals, and it is not surprising that the communities were distrustful considering the cascading events that unfolded built upon a history of generational trauma. We knew that there was a spike in the suicides after the spill, as President Begay had testified in D.C., and many farmers in Upper Fruitland were concerned about the financial impact from loss of farming. Shiprock farmers' physical health concerns may be the reason why this chapter closed their irrigation diversion for 1 year and forego their crops. Shiprock focus groups had the highest participants. Aneth chapter, located in Utah, is a community that is much more remote than the other 2 chapters, where cultural concerns were at one of the chief concerns that they had. We then went on to get permission from Navajo Nation Human Health Research Review Board to work with Navajo community health representatives to train them to go door to door to recruit families to have their blood tested for lead and their urine tested for arsenic. We picked these 2 metals because they were the ones that were at the highest levels in the spill that have potential impacts for human health. We only identified 2 individuals who had blood lead concentrations that were above the level recommended by the Centers for Disease Control, and that's about what you would expect in the general population across the United States with that many people. We did determine that some of the urine concentrations that we identified were higher than you would expect in the U.S., and there was higher levels of urinary arsenic in the people we sampled. But we were able to see that this was associated with the water that they were drinking, particularly people who were drinking water hauled from wells that had higher concentrations of arsenic. One of the things we did was also to go ahead and look at the impacts to activities. In the risk assessments done by the federal government, they only considered the risks to recreational users of the river, so campers and hikers, and looking at what would happen if they drank filtered water while they were camping or hiking along the river. But we knew that for the Diné, there are many more activities, that they're involved in. And through the focus groups, we identified 42 different activities where people come in contact with the river or materials along the river. When we did the household sampling, we also asked people how often they do these activities and how that has changed from the spill. And we found that there was a 56% reduction in activities with the river.
Yat enana shikeshidne kwaye an hinhid nebla shlai human subject bilyagi e nal khagi alia e kwaya tahalne ngai thui chogi ato onne ta la e khit a e thochde nol ine non dabate kidni nihidne enleni ado bekhedo thui chodola e khit a e thoha le khit a atal eta ashte nol e khalit dabate no agut an dabate kid akon rast kuido sani dan leni do selke da keda da tleido belni da holoni I see yegon tin hi lagot da not a da hal na betrat khati khinere do el do not ani nes gedon le da NMSU ta ak allan hol yede e betrati kre e ni de bahajil ne kodo da Paloma Beamer ye e ya hal nende akoko ni peso do it o you chute sil itano chita huis khala thona kiaw yegi yego pentashil nes thogi khop yicho eben nanre a khade ta nabts ade thogin dai kia chute nil e de lado bet be chiya del indo bet khada ti kistona al tlosh ebit be bandai kine da no sa e thodon de ye eta hegi e thobel ne zid got ado asa at nest out da halne a koko yego e now yegin zakis an zakis ne yilna ul yegi akut a eni hichin da wisna da no da halne adon da dit CHR gito ene khot khata to kri e ti da a hoyanin leni amata ajata e an dabate kit ado chini yajido e en re zel ide el init a beteln leni la de go hata has kha e tanel e di led will yegi da patient da special paul yeda e thopi ye da khit a da sati puts is thota chios ida da puts is as a piece li no e beteli in das kha adon da in ren zel ide el init a sha e khats isnal ka latati ta khallej wal yegi jo e bai jahayaj bi ji e lap bit zo e khanal e akut auto e di arsenic wal yedot an dis kha akon le khasthatin da zat net nas kha chen to le dis din do ba adash ako at ati del inde ana khiye e alch ino oyo bich na hui na le ko hot up e pe hosen et a ko zel o pi il neo e ad bakha o wat e de hota za ko e ye ko ben khla ta huil na do le shik e shit na qaden re nikinant an linin reden hich na hal na ta Dr. Kalada Chief en red oyut a dan da doch khatok environment digi e a je ti thoto sej do an donan segi a yedon but the house no could not ask about nada dot Navajo EPA and then the New Mexico State University dot Donana University of Arizona then darnishi environment yanata hit all eligible na so we'll go with the we'll make a more detailed report on the environmental study.
It's Kevin again here, and I wanted to thank the listeners and the callers, and I'll try to answer some of the questions that were expressed. For our group at New Mexico State University, our study has been a little more broad-based. We've been doing field samples from the Colorado border all the way down to Shiprock. We have 3 sites on the Navajo Nation, and we also have an additional 6 sites off the Navajo Nation. And the trends the metals that we've been focusing on have been related to what was reported in the spill itself. Aluminum, arsenic, chromium, iron, manganese, lead, zinc, calcium, and copper were what we kind of chose to focus down on. We would have liked to have looked at a more broad-based sample protocol, including uranium, which the scientist from Shiprock pointed out is another metal of concern. When we first started, we were resource strapped, so we decided that the strategy should be to do what we can based on these 9 metals and then expand outward in the future. Well, the trends we've been kind of observing is that there's a gradient, essentially. So the closer you get to the Silverton caldera, where the spill happened from the Gold King mine, that's where the most concentrated metals are occurring that we're measuring. And then when we start picking up our farm fields on the Colorado border, those fields are having on average higher concentrations of these 9 metals that I mentioned, versus by the time you get down to Shiprock, the Shiprock farm fields are having the lowest concentration gradient. So I guess the good news is that the farther away you are from the Silverton caldera, the risk becomes more minimal related to the Gold King mine spill. One of the benchmarks we use, for instance, for lead, 400 parts per million is what the U.S. EPA has as their screening limit for soils and farms. So if the limit is exceeded by this number 400, then we get red flags. And so the highest levels we've measured closer to the Colorado border have been about 83 parts per million. So this is about close to two-thirds less than the residential screening limit. By the time we get down to Shiprock in a field we're monitoring there, we're measuring about 17 parts per million. So this is just one sample point in a field. And so we'll have a more extensive report after many years of monitoring. But I as a farmer in Aztec, it's a difficult decision to make. What are you going to do? You're making your livelihood off of crops. Are you going to cut your water off? I commend the Shiprock community for making the hard decision to do that. I chose to keep my water off on my farm field and irrigate off of well water for the remainder of the growing season, because that first 2015 I couldn't trust what was coming out. I needed to know for myself. The instruments that we're using are rapid assessment tools. We're doing a lot of field sample points in a field, and then we're taking some of the samples back to the chemistry lab. It's a fairly expensive process. For the wet chemistry lab, we're trying to obtain, using this in-field equipment, a much cheaper sort of rapid assessment. So for the collar and fruitland, I would encourage you to get in contact with the research team, and we'd be happy to sample your soil rapidly. The thing that we have to our advantage here in farming in the San Juan is our soil pH. So we have elevated soil pH. This has a tendency to make some of these metals immobile, and that's translating over to, when we look at the plant samples, we're not observing a correlation between, say, a higher concentration of lead or arsenic in the plant uptake. So that's good news. We have limited data on plants, but we have grown, say, radishes in a controlled environment under 200 parts per million lead, and we don't see the uptake, even though the soil might be higher in lead. The plant has some means of exclusion. The main intake for lead and some of these heavy metals will be on the outer surface of the vegetables, and we want to wash our fruits and vegetables anyways for food handling safety. As far as the question about long-term monitoring from the gentleman, these are short-term grants. We're trusting the regulatory agents, Navajo EPA, who have long-term monitoring programs to be on top of their continued efforts. As scientists that are kind of jumping in on this, I see this as a long-term commitment on our part. It'll be probably part of a regular soil sample regimen that we already do for soil fertility, for instance. So we might look at nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are needed for plant growth, and then we can do a heavy metal analysis on top of that. So I see that as a future for our work. And then I'm this may be mentioned by one of the other panelists, but I want to mention that there's teach-ins that are happening. There's one in Shiprock at the Ag Days tomorrow, I believe afternoon. Am I correct on that? And so I'm seeing some nods. So I would encourage those that are in the area to come to the Shiprock Ag Days and hear the speakers and some of the scientists that are gathering the data in more detail and ask your questions there. That's tomorrow. Thank you.
This is Paloma Beamer again from the University of Arizona. Because our grants were focused on human health, we only had permission to look at lead and arsenic, but we also took several environmental samples. We sampled in winter of 2015, 2016, the spring of 2016, and the summer of 2016. And we took water samples from rivers and irrigation canals, as well as sediment from along the river and in the irrigation canals, and agricultural soil at each of those things, and all the 3 chapters we've already discussed. We were relieved to see that all the water samples met the standard for arsenic for human health, aquatic animal health, and livestock health. And however, there were 4 samples out of our 178 water samples that were higher than would be good for aquatic animals and livestock. And we found these highest concentrations occurred when the river levels were the highest and the river was cloudiest, so that the sediment was being resuspended and engaging the lead and arsenic back into the water. Yes, actually, it said yesterday, but it's actually just this morning. It's been a long day. We have permission from Navajo Nation Human Health Research Review Board to go ahead and present all the data we have on soil and sediment. So this is the first time we're presenting it. And we will be presenting it in detail tomorrow, as Kevin Lombard said, at the Shiprock Ag Days, if you want to come see all the data. But for the soil, we only had 1 sample from an agricultural field that was higher than what would be recommended for agriculture, for arsenic, and a separate sample for lead. But all the other 189 samples we took were all below the recommendations for agriculture, meaning that they meet the requirements for agriculture for lead and arsenic. Out of the 110 samples we took for sediments along the river, we had 4 that were high for lead for supporting aquatic life. So these would be animals that live in the sediments themselves, but they were considered low in terms of posing a risk for exposure to human health if humans contacted the sediments. And so, like I said, we will present all this data and way more research and about the soil and sediment and show maps tomorrow at Shiprock Ag Days. So please come and ask us your questions then.
Yat enana shik eshidane. Ojit ano kodota khanbi katan khabanashne. Ayisi a large it analo bahon negi eti tro tro nlenigi San Juan River a compa panago keta hanot inle do ya gonle shipra don le enes goya Togin Hanas Ka Judishna Ho Wambi Yatas Lenito at o Totan Lenito Nana Tohatahalt Odita Total Wodohat od Hatahalt Odita 8 at a Hinat Zogo Bella Ashla Echoyos Ini Ek Abiga Jun Di Yisiba Yahol Nia Le do Arsniki AI sin le wi ya honnal kit ko pila asla choyol ine to panan ata adon da thayi nal te kin le so da dan le da le da osda da art at payat lo tho leniki tra nal te ki paton an sepa adon da na al tlo choyol imodo paya hot athogi at nasli akon re khayko adon le tajet aljet you thojna nakot si tra chago ilenat lehiki akhoshin da le sejigin ta khad shin tipa hat ne khashtan ta haz ilne ishin la khayil il akhot oyut ito tahonat jono hot ata hol ne akho nanat ela qad yan re ta oyo inal ne ta tikha next step will ye ya na ta hal ne dole qad le khodo khit ta il ne khalan le khode thuich khodosh ne as ada ta inne ta as kha adon da ta hausen khishin ta ikitenis khage pe ta hausen qad ne khodo naset ya yo khalaj ele khit na il ne edi ta khatno ba khodo pa yanana thi dole ako laj bana huitil ahlige khodo che Chili Yazzie ishin kodona hal na dole
nana che dide kwet yinni to nan sopihni te ita yahata di kodota pia bet ni ye go ini kha ije adat a kodotsaga hot zan has andot Shanala Russell Begay dos tsle Jonathan Nas do yandar lishigit as ad ya el kha ije asho yahat at alla adolet na tada at khobal dahat zi oko akodo ya khana nat edo leligi je hatniki jadi ade yahandes to na kigo yor khle thohigi hanakes ben ni yeshigi ko keda ilye jot ya bayadel ki ko ne asne ke ya lada ya ta higi o open net is la iki enda hitil na thahasin lo hala ni at edo kwe ni na at ni tsodazanat ebinin na ya edat el ya ko in hayat ako ado kwade ya shik eno lini tawis aj hino lahigi che eti ade thos ade thopa ade na nest an lenigi sabeta no lenigi penni asan khanada de yolne ko kwe bahadis to kede kwe bikes higi cho dit o thoni hot zado ado tsodazanige dil sta ade hol ri ko hat tsodazan do pat ullita to le cho hot ko ben nan as yene del yene kwe bin la go nada il yes bin na nest ado na ta ba hajon kwe ta nada hato le konso kodo ba nana si yahu.
Since we began working on this study, Dr. Chief and I have received questions primarily from farmers about concerns about using the water for planting and how it's affecting their soil, which is, why we'll be presenting again tomorrow before the planting season. But we're also going to be using our last year of funding to try and address these questions more. So in partnership with Diné College and their interns and the community health representative programs with Mae-Gilene, we'll be partnering with farmers. We've identified 10 farmers who plan on planting this year, and we're going to collect some of their planting corn at the beginning of the season and some of their corn at the end of the season to see how it has changed or if it has changed at all. We'll also be looking at their soil at the beginning of the season before they begin irrigating and at the end of the season after the irrigation. These samples will be collected by Diné College interns. We will also be working with the interns to monitor the river and irrigation water throughout the growing season so we can see how the levels change as a function of the levels of the river, so the levels of the contaminants in the water as a function of the levels in the river, and as a function of the turbidity or cloudiness of the river. The interns will be posting the data live onto the internet in our Water Reporter app, along with photos of the river when they take the samples so that everybody can keep up to date on what we're seeing, and we can identify times when perhaps people should not use the river to irrigate. We'll be working with the CHR to take samples side by side with the Diné College interns so that we can develop methods for emergency response should there ever be the unfortunate case of another spill, and we'll be able to compare the results between the two samples.
CHR's hotahonda kagi to University of Arizona gi besot la beitnel in that all kagi benia ko ajet at EJ ado bekede yadida kodo eta hosida results if ninigi to hotahot nasikre the sunny do hos twi did it hashin so yadi Nilch edo todo leish ado in that la di belisdo di de deligi deliagi in das kaigi yankodo belishjana in delia a coho nasco shi University of Arizona abel del nistoli a cont nit khahot da di katoli ado di nantiniki ajit yego nikinanish in del I doshi nihnash Hi,
it's Kevin from NMSU again. Our next steps are we're going to finish out our funding in 2019 for doing the 9 fields and irrigation ditch sampling and the farm plant sampling. But we're going to continue to make our results known as they become available to these types of teach-ins through the efforts initiated by Carletta Chief and the other collaborators in this room today. We're gonna be wanting to look at more controlled studies on where some of these metals, how they're hanging on to soil particles, in what forms. Maybe more controlled studies. These are more long-term initiatives. We're looking at, a whole range of questions that, we want to kind of try to tidy up and say, okay, if agriculture is safe, come to some consensus on that, and then promote agriculture in the area as, our history of agriculture in the San Juan River Valley is very deep and intense, and we want to be able to promote fruit and vegetable consumption and diet. We want to be able to promote home and backyard gardens and small scale producers and see economic livelihoods sustained in the region, and so we really want to come to some consensus on that and try to look at some marketing efforts and whatnot, and then taking notes with the callers today. Uranium comes up again and again because of the history there, and so we'd like to expand some of our monitoring of some of the uranium, how they might be impacting soil farm conditions. We have some tools now that came about as a result of the spill, which we'd like to continue long after the funding is over for services. And, I envision it being like a free sample or something that farmers can bring a soil sample to the science center, and we can scan their soil rapidly, give a quick test report, a green light or a yellow light, and so those are some of the services that the land grant universities already are supposed to provide prior to the Gold King mine spill. And so, as I mentioned earlier, the addition of monitoring for metals is going to become part of our normal sort of routine, I guess, in moving forward. And we're going to be continuing to collaborate with the group of individuals in the room and appreciate kind of the community, the scientific community that's developed out of this as well. So again, thank you for the opportunity to present.
This is Steve Austin with Navajo EPA again. Moving forward for us, Congress has authorized funding for the next, from 2017 through 2021 of up to $4 million a year for all the states and tribes that were impacted by the spill to continue monitoring from Silverton down through Lake Powell. We've been working together the past few months to develop a monitoring plan that'll begin this May and at least continue through next March. And if Congress continues to fund it after that, we'll continue sampling. And that includes both water, sediment, and biological monitoring. We've also each been given money to do individual studies that are of most interest to each of the jurisdictions. And for us on the Navajo Nation, we're focusing our initial grant on making sure that the water quality standards we're using for irrigation and livestock use are based on the best science available. So we're looking at all the studies that have been done since these standards were put in place. We're also going to be taking sediment samples and growing plants in them to see what the plants are taking up. Other future projects that we would like to see funded is to continue to investigate other sources of metals in the watershed, and maybe also to follow up on the fish tissue study. Thank you.
This is Janene with Toba Nahidzil. Moving forward, we will honor the request by the community stakeholders to continue to develop and monitor different passive filtration techniques using native plants to filter river water of toxic metals before their use for irrigation. We know that there are still concerns from the farmers about the safety of the river and the use of the river water for irrigation. So I'm happy to work with and learn from Brandon Francis and his team at NMSU as we carry out a demonstration project on the farm of our late mentor, Dr. Larry Emerson in Hogback, New Mexico. We will also be evolving our teach-in structure to nurture a community action group, and we will use some of the funds that we've received from the HARI grant to set them up with the materials they need to continue to do their work. We must nurture water security in the community. As part of that effort, I recently co-hosted a uranium education symposium with Dr. Tommy Rock at Shiprock Youth Complex last week, which focused on the uranium contamination. With climate change and the presence of thousands of more unremediated mine sites in the Animas River Valley, it's important for all of us to stay engaged and work together for the protection of our communities and our sacred water. We need to do this for water security and food security now into the future.
Yat enana alkhasilo an re oi alcindil nech olkil. Akwan kwan hinant alan khanayala re a khando re dam. Tielchint e Oak Spring Dale, she chain Linny Jonathan Hale Kodo, Nich Hanado Tze, Adon Dailch in that deal nil, Abiga Echanagila Ido Al, Nadi Kiddy. Kadesh Cheada.
Here has a 2-yard education that is not on the Nigi to Quabniga, Ho and the Nigi by Hessen. To hot in the Nigi Ben Hitchena with a Higido by Hessen and the Oshibin Nacha Equa about Honits in Dole. Shamana Hosa Yalit Hitling hit car, Johota Eco, Sa that it's at all citizens that it's at or not Egosh, hit our Equa Ekibin Nache, has all to hit all Labicata and Nishla. Could our Belganic at Jay Hitchata see Nal Khan Lenigi, it addition out our whole Argo whole Gistole. Die hot indigi to allage na kitra ting isla na khajita to na hot on nilla hot is ago hon dole jo hot bikitish ho by bikiyata jelti adonal khan lenigi to yal bolt khan eshin kinda nahal kaido khodo be da but jin lenigi EPA jo ajita sen lenigi lato hota det hot Sabedna did ahin lenigi, nilso do hot equation at after Nashtran lenigi yella asline, a hot is sadbik in das nilla, do ashin hashin so shin equaki, a whale degon at the yatas the do ade equagi yil kill. O hot equacan and lenigin hitchana slashikation, at the bedanish do na beshpas and any yahnak haishin, sato equa, hanadate et ole, ahon so dole, yeah.
One of the things that, this is Steve again, we wanted to mention briefly is to provide an update on lawsuit and what the tribe has been doing in that arena. I am not an attorney, but I did speak with our outside counsel on this, and he gave me some information to go ahead and pass along just to provide a general update on what's been happening. Just to give an overview, the Navajo Nation, along with New Mexico, Utah, and then a separate group of individuals have all sued US EPA, their contractors, the mining owners, and their operators. The litigation has proceeded relatively slowly thus far due to a variety of complex legal issues and motions that have been filed, as well as a recent transfer of the case to a new judge, which has also caused more delays. The court recently denied one contractor's claim or motion to dismiss the lawsuits, so he can be sued. Other defendants' motions have not yet been decided, and they're raising issues such as personal jurisdiction, sovereign immunity, and things like that. A hearing is occurring at the end of this month regarding whether or not to group these four lawsuits into one consolidated multi-district litigation. After that decision's made, then the Navajo Nation's litigation will proceed. For individual claims that were brought against US EPA, US EPA stated last week that they will finish their review of all pending claims and then make a decision at the end of this month as to how they're going to proceed, and they will notify individuals directly. There will also be an update on the status of the Gold King Mine litigation provided at the Shiprock, Hogback, Nenanazad, and San Juan chapter houses by the Attorney General, Houston Hennigan, our outside counsel, and an additional law firm during the second week of April on the 10th and 11th. And they will make they'll put announcements out there as to the specific dates and times. Thank you.
Did Kodot a kid sheet que Bahnadi Zito Leslie Kodot Mr. Austin Yahatzi que has Anigi Jonal Ye Lenny A Slopana Dil Kidia Quet all hot ideta EPA Petit Ninigi Nalye Hoto Les Adenal Sos Daho Nil A than kitchen no A Hotitza. Jende Ado Hotishi A dot Tato Don Nil Janan hit or need. Okok attended the Ashon Evakan Anal Kiddy Eko Washington the Bahonson Eko near Washington near Pespas Andan Linigi Congressman Luhan that the ad a Pes Ani deep Natchet Naliehoto Lily ad a Hanasti Des Nelko Asset it at ade Huditsa. Adequate did coded Hanedil Aigi Kodo Sa Eba Henits and Dick et il Yehigito Kodo Nanasti Yego Nanasti did quet Dr. Carla Chief in he que Hinat Anin long eque in an Shigi it's got Anna she a chief jot ebis not Aniko. But by Henson though, it did just the in a gun himako. A got deep a handly his shit at a Beninando con his whole load, I get your epiage by a way and low egg at see yego a happy as they eat a did the piage and lenigi. A standes at a epis what long co the awayas and lenigi yego ebis nako. So there's a need that in Habe Beda Nito Lechalati, Sun as Yego Ejo Paigit Eco, Bena Eba Hanits and Oko Eque Hebetin Nito Le. Oko Tikodo Yahana Skat and Lenigit the Agnes Nelms Hari Foundation to Eque a base in the show Eque a nonsense inside. Ako Beba Henitz and the Hari Foundation, do University Arizona, Aro NAU, Northern Arizona University, do the neck college, the New Mexico State University, and Sao Eda Ostra Ege Ade Hot in Ha Nandesti. Ashon Eha Be Eha Be shanna hadan nanatan hit la de kwe ik et il yehi ko lago edat il yes khasi lo ko huntsodole ya
KTNN AM 660 101.5 FM Adosha 96.1 KWRK do 99.5 KCAZ adida that is not ko kodo for miki ya bahana out so ko we only have time for one more caller ko sa iya na hon na out so ko yate caller go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Go ahead
Hello?
with your question.
Yes, I want to thank the forum for bringing this topic out to the Navajo people. I do appreciate you taking the time to do that. One thing that I like to add on top of that, here in Newlands, we get a lot of the university students out from U of A doing foliage, range management, and I really do appreciate that too. So in terms of that, if you can expand the study, maybe possibly down here, we would really appreciate it, because ever since that uranium spill, just like I said, it didn't hit us until, we didn't even notice it until 25 to 30 years afterwards. So anybody that's living around that area where that mine spill is, you won't feel it until anything like 25, 30 years. So the study should include, if you can identify what each element, like arsenic, lead, uranium, what does a person, when they partake of it, what effect can you see on that person? That needs to be included, not only on the human being, but on livestock and on plants, because it's very critical, I think, to have those studies included if you're going to do that. Not only just the water, but each contaminant, because a lot of it's going to filter underneath the Navajo tribe, the land itself, and eventually, it's going to get to the water system, the table water. So that needs to continue. If you can do the continuous massive study, and if you can publish it, what side effect each element, like lead, arsenic, uranium, what it does to a human being, it would be something that I would really appreciate it. Because right now, here a lot of us, where they just tell us, we don't even know what's happening to us, what they mean by that. But if you can explain that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for this formal forum this evening.
This is Janene Yazzie again. We will be hosting a uranium education symposium at Navajo Chapter on March 31st, where you'll be hearing from other scientists doing similar research on uranium in particular. But for this study, we've learned so much from the design and the approach, and how to bring the different stakeholders together to explore all of those things. One of our researchers that wasn't able to be here today, Dr. Janie Ingram, is taking samples from corn and from sheep, and they're analyzing those results to trace how these metals are moving through our food system. And so there's so much great information out there and great work, but there's also so much more data that needs to be collected and analyzed and monitored for the long term to really understand how these are impacting our communities. So I really suggest that you come out to our forum on March 31st in Navajo Chapter, but also that people come to Shiprock Ag Days tomorrow to talk more with the researchers that are present here about these issues.
خنن لني كواتام الشيندل نهتو للأجي أول كتلا أكوكو بيش بهنات إدي كون كدوساتا نخلش إنش آتو للبيت بيك الشي خطاو نيل آتو تو تاي نخفون يجيكي تا new numbers but yes آتو سنة additional information نصنغو آسي آن نادة ديشكيل نصنغو دي بيش تحالنا شو كون numbers لان هيجي إنش University of Arizona, Bihiki, 505-652-4563. Nana Navajo EPA, Bihiki A. Stephen Austin, Bihiki 505 505-368-1037 Edo nana e peshpe hanna eki nana yiskago Nreta nat ani nez Shiprock Chapter haski Allade bikita has kenzo en zagon hilta hanna do leshik ajo kehanot ini ayisi dan hidat il asledon hi gaho troch inlini adet yat nihit dahal negi de kushin khanana kha adn khala to leshik eshetna yatna dish artensen is ka Shiprock Act days bedi no ba lahnane tleti gold king mine spill lagi session band ilte the University of Arizona New Mexico State University adeta alatan lido lils ka an hino sajan da idol kido lil adigi akut ayet yakwa akut alch indel yado lishik eshetna la adi dan hisnol andagi jashi khont na al kedid ol kilin it's elwadnde Of course, kashi bana hoidot alkut edolik ade koje KTNN bich hondel netolil.
Akonanat ela dona hiad ada da snot agi koko koroshen hiln da hasna ngai gold king mine jo aj tkochko tkobi ko nena josh kun khashin tsagoshi to ne jenaras diltsa ado enta asona hiad ada da snot agi KTNN AM 660 101.5 FM ado KWRK 96.1 KCAZ 99.5 to ada da snot agi dona hiad o ada أخيت أنا بعد أرديش كل ننزوج إياه كود أصلاً أتلي هو أصلاً نغي نات أني ناز أجي نات أني دان لنيجي شو أصلاً أجي أصلاً عشان تسوق إياه بالبيت هزن لأدي دا تبيش بهنا كوه نيجي نانين شيء أصلاً أشتلا نزباس أشتلا أستخان أشتلا ناكي دين أشتلا أستخان تخا عشان تبيش بهالنا دولي أنا بهنا أدي كده ليش تو ترى أصلاً goldkingproject@gmail.com ajisto ot aya bahna dikkido has to adel khasi to da sunal tsagi to na khan hidi ni do le kun za aya nei nada sil na do adun da to na kha do le